People, what is going on? Wanted to hop on here and while I'm loading up the truck, just say what's up. Hope everybody's Tuesday is going good. Just to give you an example, I cut all my pieces at between 16 to 18. That's like standard for Connecticut. And yeah, just kind of wanted to have a conversation. We did a lot of splitting. I did a lot of cutting yesterday. The gentleman who was here yesterday, no call, no show. But you know what? When you need help and you're also, honestly, I'm trying to help him out, but it's amazing. I'll leave it there. But yeah, just wanted to have a chat with you guys. God kind of put this on my heart to talk about this today, so that's what I'm gonna do. Life's a tricky thing. There's a lot of, and I apologize if you're getting some of the wood pile, but life's a funny thing as far as I suffer with it's gotten a lot better, but I do suffer with anxiety. And what I realized is even though life does get hard, it's so much easier and also manageable when you just show up. Just show up for life. You know what I mean? Showing up for life, what does that mean? Well, what it means to me is if I say I'm gonna do something, I better be either sick, and when I say sick, I don't mean a little cold, but I better be sick like throwing up, and or something would have happened to my truck or my car, or I'll get there on my quad. But I show up, and that seems to be the problem with the generation that's actually, I'm 40 years old, so I shouldn't even say that. It's my generation. It's the generation before me. Nobody wants to just show up, and that's why there's so much suffering. You know what I mean? I was a little bit appalled this morning when I had to drop my son off at school. So I'll give you the short end of it. Usually I pick this gentleman up at 6:45 in the morning. We stop and get a coffee. I pay him a portion of each cord I make, a generous portion, because I'm only getting $2.25 a cord. The reason why I'm getting $2.25 a cord instead of $2.75 or $2.50 is because my orders are just coming and coming and coming. I have 19 orders to fill right now of a cord or better, the most being 4 cords. So if somebody's gonna do you a favor, show up. If we're using my truck, my splitter, my chainsaws, my axe, my gas, my everything, and all you have to do is show up, bro, show up. Because then you have zero excuses of why you can't feed your family. How am I gonna look my 4-year-old that wants to go out to eat on Saturday morning and continue our tradition of going out to eat breakfast on Saturday morning, which is a blessing to have the extra money to do. But look at what I'm doing. I'm filling up a half-ton pickup truck, 4 rows deep, 36 inches high, to bring these people wood. If I'm doing that, how am I going to look my son in the eye if I don't do this? How am I going to look my son in the eye and say, you know what? Listen, we can't go to breakfast because Daddy wanted to stay in bed and my back was a little sore. Dude, my back's a little sore because I split all this today. I already made a trip out, and this is my second trip. I'm loading and unloading it all by hand, which I'm not complaining about. I don't want this getting twisted. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying this is a conversation about showing up. I don't want my son to look at me with a look of, not disgust, because he's not that kind of kid, but I don't want my son to look at me any other way than a smile when I say, come on, son, let's go get your he likes cheese omelets. I'm just saying, come on, son, let's go get your omelet. And like I said, we live in a small town in Connecticut, so everybody knows him. Because I was born and raised in this town, and he enjoys going down there. We got Miss Mary down there who bought him. My son's very smart. He's actually in a school right now at 4 years old that basically is on the kindergarten level. I don't know where he got it from. I'm mechanically inclined, and some people say I operate a machine like a third arm. However, he's very, very intelligent. His mother's a teacher. Nice lady. No, she's a great mother. Good provider. Works hard. She's a teacher. Excuse the G5 going by. And yeah, so you know what? It's cold out here today. It's probably, I don't know, 28 degrees. But for some reason, some people don't want to show up. So the work's still going to get done, whether I have a helper or I don't. This wood is still going to get delivered. Because why? I show up. Did I want to work till dark tonight? No. I don't want to work till dark tonight, but I'm going to. Because when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And so should you. So should the however many people this reaches. Show up. That's not even half. That's 80% of the battle is showing up. Just do the uncomfortable things. I got out of bed this morning. I wake up, I don't know, I have an internal alarm at 5 a.m. I just can't sleep past 5. And the thing is I get my coffee. I put a chew in, which I am stopping on my son's birthday in June. Thank you. But got him ready for school, cooked him a bacon, egg, and cheese, and off to school he went. I was back to town by 8, had the truck loaded by 8:40. I'm sorry, 8:20, because like I said, it's only a 6.5 foot bed. And had the first delivery and was back here at the wood lot by 10 o'clock. Now, I'm not going to mention names throughout any of this, but my next customer, he actually has, well, I think it's got to be diabetes, because he lost 2 toes and he's in the process of getting bariatric or whatever, the chamber they put you in, oh man, I can't think of it now, but it's the chamber they put you in, the big chamber, hyperbaric chamber. lost 2 toes. And that man, I asked him, I said, listen, sir, I said, would you like me to bring this wood inside your home for you? And guess what? He said, no, I got it, Matt, thank you. But it's going to be painful, but I appreciate the offer, he said to me. So if a 3-toed man, and I'm not being funny about this at all, if a 3-toed man can show up and bring his own wood in the house, when a 40-year-old man offered to bring this in his house for free, who's showing up? The 3-toed man. And I know it sounds funny, but it's, that sucks. You know what I mean? A man without part of his metatarsals is gonna limp his wood in every piece at a time. He says, I take my time, I bring 2 pieces in at a time, and once I get the fire hot, I know I can take my time even more and bring in more wood. That dude shows up. That's a guy who shows the F up. So, I'm not going to bore you with all these speeches. I'm just sorry there's just not much going on today, other than me running loads. So, in closing, if a 3-toed man can bring his own wood in and not bitch about it, or complain about it, I should say, what the heck is your excuse for not coming in and helping me? As you can see, these orders, I don't know if anybody saw the pile yesterday, but the pile was basically gone. I came back after I dropped him off because he had to do something at a certain time. Came back, split till dark again. I mean, dark's only 4:45 here anyway. Grabbed my son. We ate dinner. We played downstairs in the basement for a while because obviously it's dark. He wanted to go ride his quad for a little while. These are all the things that I'm doing all this extra stuff now so that I have the time and the money to buy a nice plot of land and build my log cabin and have him have 10 acres to just do whatever he wants on it. Everything I do for God, number one, and I do for my son. Everything. But part of that, and yeah, I'm going to say it again, is showing up. You know what I mean? Do the uncomfortable stuff, guys. The stuff that people aren't doing. I hear guys complaining, oh, I don't know how you have all these orders, blah, 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 blah. Well, one, I'm $25 cheaper than you. And by the way, do not ever sell yourself short. You are worth what you are worth. Some people are worth, and this is just the reality of it, some people are worth more than others. But if you have a good product, if you can talk to people, and in my opinion, as most of you know, I'm a Christian, if you can find a relationship with God. I started doing this, well, I shouldn't say that would be a lie. However, I did already bless somebody, but I'm starting this thing called Chords for the Lord. And what that's going to entail is me either giving my time if you have the wood at your house, or I'll split a half a cord for you and I'll drop it off at your house free of charge. Don't worry about the gas, don't worry about anything. For the people, and that guy with the 3 toes, and I think half of the other foot is missing, he would have been a recipient. And I even told him, I said, dude, I will get you if you need it. And he, I think he's financially stable, so. But it's about giving more than you take. It's about just being being a good person. It's about showing up. It's about, I mean, honestly, it's about a lot of stuff. But, you know, be honest, work hard, be kind to other people. I mean, if my 4-year-old can hold the door when we go out to breakfast, when we go here, when we go to Cabela's, Bass Pro Shops, wherever we go, I'm just saying, if he can hold the door for somebody and say, here you go, ma'am or sir, or whatever, at 4 years old, there's no reason why you can't be nice and do the same thing. I'm not telling you you have to act a certain way. You act how you feel you need to act. But don't complain when your life is in complete ruin. However, there will be times of suffering. I actually just had an incident where just the short end of it, I ended up having an excavator tip over on me because we have frost up here in Connecticut. And what I thought was ledge was frost. So when I put the boom and stick over where the hammer was to tighten up a bolt, I went to go to grab my impact gun. Well, that piece of frost was not ledge. It was frost. And the excavator tipped over. Now, do I believe? Well, first I was accused of something that didn't happen. However, that's not for me to worry about. That's for him to worry about. I've suffered a lot in my life, and once I get more comfortable on here, we'll go into detail. A few people know, and more people will know, because I think it's good to raise awareness about issues that human beings go through. But I will say this. Your life cannot be perfect. Those who lead a perfect life, there's some kind of a deep flaw, or there's some kind of there's something that they're either hiding from you and or are making it seem that they live a life that they don't live. And I know many people that do that. That's why I don't allow, I think YouTube is it's a great way to spread a message. Number one, it's a great way to figure out how to do stuff that you don't know how to do. I mean, I taught myself how to stick weld from YouTube videos. This guy, this isn't my land. This guy who ordered a cord of wood from me, awesome dude. He's like, Matt, if somebody is stealing your wood, which somebody stole some wood from me, and it was a big loss, and it was right after the new year, I had an 8-day, I think it was even a 9-day stomach bug. Dude, when I say I had a stomach bug, I mean this and that, and it was bad, dude. It was bad. I meet this guy, I drop off the cord of wood for him. He's like, Matt, come in the backyard. Guy's got a mini excavator. I didn't have to bring mine here, which worked out because I don't have a thumb on mine. That's the part that actually clamps the wood like that. He's like, Matt, all this wood and I can get you more. So, I mean, as much as I thanked him, that's God bringing me to the people that I need to be around, because I didn't know what I was going to do. These kids or adults, whoever it was, my old wood lot that I had permission to hunt on, ride my quads on there, me and my son. Well, I guess these kids or whoever it was didn't want to share. So I took a steel plate over where a stream was, and I put it over the stream so that my truck wouldn't fall in the stream. Well, they must have hooked a winch on their UTV or whatever it was to it. Not only did they not want me back there, which they did not have permission to be back there, but they cut off my livelihood for 2 weeks. I had just enough wood left. I had a tree down, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I would have found something, I think, because God would have blessed me with something. However, I didn't know what I was going to do until I met this gentleman, Toby, and it's been a save. It saved me. I mean, behind you, I have a ton of wood. To the left of you, I have a ton of wood, my right, and I can probably go all season making money off this, what God made. Isn't that funny? And by the way, this truck would have already been loaded and I would have been out of here if I wasn't talking. But yeah, guys, show up for life, do good things for people, do the things that people aren't doing, you know. Like the kid that was helping me yesterday, he's like, what are the 2x4s for? I said, well, what I do is, I get a little shrink wrap, I split up some kindling, and then I take just a regular pocket knife, and I start a fire starter for them. So it's a thin stick. You shave it all the way down till you have the little curls. Usually you get that going, and this wood is seasoned enough where it'll just take off. Do something that sets you apart from the next guy. I mean, that is not rocket science. I am nobody special. I am nobody special. But I will say, when it comes to finding the means to set myself apart, I've always done that. 18 to 20, I was a laborer. Figured out everything there was to know about laboring in excavation. 20 years old, I used to give my boss $10. I used to skip my lunch break. I used to give him $5, for the diesel fuel. I used to skip my lunch. Figured out myself how to operate machines on my lunch break. Didn't take a lunch break for like 8 months. I would work a straight 8 or 10 hour or 12 hour shift, whatever it was. Figured out how to operate. At 24, I was given the opportunity to run. It was just putting in some ball fields, but reading blueprints, elevations, etc. For those of you that do that kind of work, you know what I'm talking about. At 24, I was running my first job. The jealousy that came along with that, the pure hatred that came along with that. You know, I got a guy 40 years old, my age, having a 24-year-old, and I was always kind of, actually I shouldn't say that because that would be a lie. I used to be a hothead. I was the guy throwing the hard hat. I was the guy screaming if this and that wasn't getting done. But guess what? It got me nowhere other than not liked even more, to the point where I actually got let go from that job. So I think I was 32, yeah, because I was at that job for 9 years. Good job, by the way. And I stayed there for that amount of time, and I sat down and said to myself, this is getting me nowhere. I'm stressed out. I'm this, I'm that. Yeah, I have a brand new truck. I have a street bike. I have a quad, blah, 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 blah. Which, by the way, those are worldly things. Those are just things that, you know, I have fun on. If I didn't have them, you know, I have what I need, you know. But anyway, that gets you nowhere in life. So just do good, be kind, be honest about everything that you do. Honesty is huge, man. You know, I often throw people extra wood just because I want to make sure that they get their full amount. You know what I mean? And I always feel bad, you know, even though, you know, let's just say somebody orders a half a cord. Well, if a cord is 4x4x8, a half a cord is 2x2x4. So I always throw in extra because a half a cord doesn't look like much, you know what I mean? So I'm constantly, you know, but that's where you have to draw the line and say, you know, don't sell yourself short, but at the same time, you know, to throw in an extra 12 sticks, you know, it gives the people an extra day or two of burning, you know, it's not a big deal, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm going to close up because I got to get this on the road. Be kind, be a happy person, show up to life, because life has so much to offer, you have no idea. And we'll talk soon, guys. Out.